Hello and welcome. Oxygen finally released version 4, and also we are releasing a new version of Swiss Knife, and I wanted to take the opportunity and take you through all the features we have feature by feature. So this is going to be a full Swiss Knife review. The first thing that you are going to notice is we moved the save changes from the bottom to the right side, and the button is now floating because we added a lot of features. And if you have smaller resolution, you need to constantly go up and down just to find the button to save it. Now it's available all the time. And you can see that we have dark, light, default, and without theme. If you choose without theme, you can have all the features but with the default Oxygen CSS, and the reason is there are several plugins on the market that offering the tuning the UI, so we decided to have an option to go without the theme, and it doesn't have any conflict with the other plugins. If you go with the default theme, let's refresh it. While it's loading, I'm going to tell you what is it. It's using the Oxygen default colors, but it adds just a little of the UI for a better contrast. As you can see, while you're hovering, there is a hover effect. Also, the entire UI is a little nicer with a bigger contrast. Also, we have a light theme. So if you're working during the day, you maybe prefer just to have the light UI. Also, if you're having a problem with the vision, the light UI have much bigger contrast. And there is also a dark theme. So let's refresh it. And here you can see that we're having much bigger contrast, a little nicer UI. Even the Oxygen 4.0 have a nice UI. We still have the advantage of polishing it just a little more. The features are grouped based on the location where they're going to be shown. So for a top bar, we have a debug, we have page list, and the Oxygen template list. Let's activate all three. Let's refresh the Oxygen. And the first one is debug. Debug is really useful because with one click you can see all the elements. It's especially useful when you are doing the smaller versions, and then you see that some of the elements are just going outside of the page. You can easily then understand the structure and what is causing it. Beside the debug, we have the page list, and in the page list, as the name says, you have all the pages, and you have three options. One is to have the preview right away. Then you can have it open in editor, or you can open right away with the builder. And also for the templates as well, you see it. But just to mention, for the template, we don't have the editor. We decided to have only the preview or the builder. Let's now start with the left sidebar, and this one we're going to go one by one because some of them are bigger features as well. The first one is edit tech elements from the sidebar. So if we save changes, And if we find any text, you can see that there is text content that you can just edit. The Oxygen also have this option, but what we provide is the option to edit the element as the HTML as well. And the Oxygen only edit the content, but not the HTML. The next one is going to be the hide Oxygen content editor. I need to move this one next to this one because they are close connected. And what that feature actually do is it's hiding the Oxygen text edit, so you have a little more space here. The next one is going to be Lorem Ipsum generator. And what this feature is doing, let's just add a text element. Let's move it to the top, it's easier to kind of see what we're doing. And if you click on the text, you will see that we have the number of paragraphs that we want to insert, 1, 3, 4, or 5, and we can just select how many text you want. And as you can see, it's generating the 4. And if you, in some case, want to switch as well, you can easily switch. It doesn't add more. It's going to just replace it by the number of what you actually need. And this is really useful when you are starting with the project and you need to add some text and images really fast. Since I mentioned the images, we also introduced the random Unsplash images. Let's save it. And if we add one image here, if we go to the image URL, you will see the Unsplash image. And if you press here, you are going to get a random Unsplash image. So you can see how much time you can save by just using those two new features that are landed in the Swiss 4.0. The next one is about the spacing. As you can see, the Oxygen have the padding and the margin one by another. And if you are using variables, this personally it's not enough space for me. So what I introduce is bigger padding and margin boxes. So if we reload it, and if you go to size and spacing, you are going to see that the padding is now above the margin, so you have even more spacings if you writing some big variables or other use cases like that. So I think that you're going to like actually this, because we already have a lot of space here, so why not use it? Next one is advanced settings tabs on the left side. And that one is going to give us the what the name exactly said. So it's going to give you the option to quickly browse without going here, and then you need to go back. So you see how much time it's going to save you if you don't like to use the shortcuts. For now, I'm going to skip the class manager because I want to cover it after we cover the scripts and styles. So let's move to the structure panel. That's this part. And every time you reload or open a new page, this one is going to be closed. So you need to have extra click all the time. So we introduced open the structure on load. Also the current one, it's too much narrow, and if you have a couple of nested elements and they have a little longer names, it's going to be easily scrollable on the horizontal scale as well, and that's hard to do all the time. So we introduced the option to make it wider. You can just type the name you want, and also, as you can see, it's hard to understand just by name which element it is, but we introduced the structure icons that's going to help you understand right away by just scanning without need to read. So let's save it and reload it. And as you can see, it's clear right away which element it is. Let's expand it. As you can see, just by scanning, you understand right away what is it. And also you notice that the structure is much wider and it was open right away. Okay, then let's move to the code editor. And that is actually what you see in the code block. So this is a code editor area, and what we have, it's a code hint. We also have several themes. The Oxygen now, it's providing a couple of themes, but if you want to use ours, keep Oxygen by the default. And also you can increase the font size. For example, if you don't see good as me, increasing the font size is also helpful. So let's save it. Let's save this one. So we have only code block, and let's reload it. So if you open it, we see that the font size is bigger. And also if we start for example, start writing a CSS, and if you start writing, you see that we are getting the code autocomplete. So border bottom, and you can notice how faster you can write the code. If you're interested in Animate, you can check their documentation, and I'm going to give you example of how to create this one with just this. And also one more thing to point is when you start writing the Animate, you are getting the preview of how your code is going to look like, so you know if you are mistaken somewhere or not. Okay, let's now move to the custom fonts. We need to enable the font manager, and also we need to allow upload the WOF and WOF2 files upload to the media library, because by the default WordPress doesn't allow you to upload this one to media library. We're going to save it, and right away you're going to see the font manager. Let's grab this font, for example. Okay, let's go to the downloads. We can use, the regular is just good enough. Then it's going to add fonts. We need to convert it. Upload. Let's going with the basics. Convert, download. Perfect. Let's see what is it's Caviar Dreams. Let's just call it like this. And you have the option to add the font face. That means to define by the font weight, or you can select the add font or add a variable font. For this example, we are going to choose it the regular font face. Okay. We want a font swap, so when the font is loading, it's loading first the system font, and then it's going to display this one when it's loaded. And let's save. So now we are going to remove this one, and we are going to add headline test headline. Let's save it, and we need to reload as well. So once the page is reloaded, we are going to get this one right away. And as you can see, it's getting the font. You have the preview. And also what I want to show you is once the font manager is activated, you also have the option for choosing the system fonts as well. So that can be handy if you looking for a best performance, because this one is not going to load any external files. It's going to pick up the system font from your local machine. Next one is scripts and styles. And for now, we are going to just enable Script Manager. Right away, you see new tab is shown. And we are going to use the green sub. We're going to animate this page. Let's call it GSub core. It's JavaScript, or you can choose CSS. We want it in footer, and we can choose if you want to register or enqueue it. For now, let's go for a register, and you can also choose if you want to have it on the front end only, or you want to have it inside the builder as well. We don't need it inside the builder, and we are going to paste the link, or same as the font, you can drag and drop the script and you can load it from here. But for now, we are going to use the SDN version. So let's save. And also what we need is this, or you can just copy here. So let's edit this page. And with this animation, we are going to just use the basic example, so you can see how it's worked. But if you want to learn more about GSub, you have their documentation, or there are a ton of good videos about how to use GSub. We need the code block, and we need to copy this one, because you remember that we only register it, so without enqueuing it, it's not going to be loaded. So we actually need to load it here. Let's apply, and then we want to trigger it. So let's go to the JavaScript, and let's see. For me personally, it's easier if I inspect from here. So let's copy the conference heading one. Apply. Nothing is happening because we selected the front end only. So let's save it. And if we reload it, you can see that with just a couple of clicks, you manage to load the GSAP library. You manage to trigger it only on this page, so it's not going to be loaded on the rest of the pages. It's going to be loaded only here, and you pasted the code that is triggering based on this class, and you have the working animation in just a couple of clicks. GSAP animation is just a couple of clicks. But beside scripts, this is also handy because you can search for lightweight CSS frameworks that are going to speed up your workflow. So let's grab one. Okay, by quick Google, I found this framework that is lightweight. As you can see, it have only 11 kilobytes and looks really simple. So let's give it a try. So we are going to Scripts Manager, add new. This is a skeleton. Let's call it like that. And it's going to be a CSS. We want to have it in the footer, and we want to have it across the entire website. And also we want to have it in the builder and in the front end. Just one more thing. If we go to the features, we forgot to allow upload CSS. Skip Manager, edit. Perfect. So we are going to paste it, save it, and let's reload this page. And I'm going to remove everything so it's easier to work. And let's have, for example, text link. Let's go to their documentations. Let's go to the button, and let's see if we copy and apply the class button. Okay, perfect. So what we done, let's zoom it a little. We're only using a class, and we don't need to do anything. So there is a button, and then there is a button primary. So this one was outline. And if we add button primary, here you can see how easily you can just create website by typing classes. And let's see something else what we can use from this framework. Examples. Now we want something simpler. Okay, they have some small utility classes, but you get the point how powerful this one can be. So let's now remove this design set and showcase it a little more. For another example, I'm going to use the Bootstrap. It's CSS, we need in header, and enqueue it. We can delete this one. We're going to paste the Bootstrap CDN. And now we are going to enable the import classes. And we are going to find the list of the Bootstrap classes so we can import it. Okay, we found classes, and since it's in a table, we are going to, just a second. Yes, let's do it like this one more time. We are going to copy everything. Let's now copy this one into the Visual Studio. I think it will be the easier to edit it. Maybe CSS. Let's now just select everything. This is a long list, as you can see. Okay, perfect. And we need to have it as a comma separated. Okay, let's now copy it and let's go back to the Oxygen. And now I want to show you the class manager. Since we imported all the classes, this feature was really needed because just going to Oxygen and typing the classes here is not the best experience, and we also need the keyboard shortcuts as well, because the class manager is using some of the keyboard shortcuts as well. So let's just remove this one. Let's this is a button, and let's press here, and what you can see, you have the list of all the classes right away, and you can start typing. So also what you can do is you can select multiple. Where is the success or warning? And you can update selection, and as you can see, we have 2 buttons applied right away. Also, you can update the selection, and only the button is now applied. Also, if some of the, for example, the classes are missing, you get that class is not found, and you can add multiple classes, or you can create them on the fly as well. Perfect. You can see they're created. Update selection, and you can see that Marco and Marco 2 are applied or created on the fly as well. So just imagine how much of the speed you're going to get while you start using this one. Since we mentioned the keyboard shortcuts, once we enable it, you got the shortcuts manager, and you can see that we have a ton of shortcuts, and I'm going to post updated list of shortcuts on inside our documentation. But one of the most requested shortcuts are under Advanced, so you get all those tabs. As you can see, you have the advanced background size, layout, typography, but also the second one is the second step. So there is a gradient as well. There is effects, animate and scroll, opacity, transition, box, shadow, filter, and transform, and you can assign all of them, and you can start using them. I also want to point that we added as a default just several, so you can customize it how you want, but also you can go to the manage settings and you can export them and import them and reuse them on all of your projects. Definitely one of my most used shortcuts is the insert multiple classes. That's the class manager, and if I just press this one, I'm going to use it. And there is a hidden shortcut, Shift Return or Shift Enter. So once you select it, you can press the Shift Enter and it's going to apply and close. Or if you don't want to select anything, you just want to exit, you don't need to search for a close, you can just press Escape. This one is pretty self-explanatory, so if you select it, the Swiss knife is going to be hidden for the non-admins. The second one is template tags, and that's one if you go to the templates and you have the option to add the tags. So this can be all, or if you, for example, having a post single and then we have post archive. Also, we added the option to go back to the templates. Oxygen doesn't have that, so you then need to go to the Oxygen templates instead of just press the back to the templates. And if you don't have the template tags, you need to go to screen options and then enable it. But you can see how this can be useful, especially if you have multiple tags. You can, if you have multiple templates, you can assign multiple tags and you can easily just search by or group it by the template tags. The next one is Oxygen template list and page list, and this is going to be displayed here. So you can easily access those wherever you are on the WordPress. And the next one is copy right click. We introduced the right click inside the builder. So if we reload it, let's close this one. Let's just add some text. Yeah, and we introduced the cut, paste, also copy, paste, then there is a duplicate. You can save it as reusable. You can easily rename it. You can set conditions. You can change the ID because it's pain to do it here. Also, you can wrap it in a div, and also you can delete it as well. And also I want to point that this copy and paste, it's from the Oxygen 4.0, and Oxygen copy and paste works only between the sections or the pages, so it needs to be on the same site. But if you want to copy your content or your elements across the website, or if you want to copy and paste it to shortcode, you can do it by enabling this option. So if you copy it, you open text. So if you paste it, you can store it or you can share it with somebody else. And this one is going to copy all the elements and all the classes and the styles as well. And also we introduce this one as well. In case you don't want to have a right click, or it's just easier for you, you are going to get this option, so you can cut it and paste it. The first time you need to do it like this. Sorry, in Safari you need to do it like this, because the Safari doesn't support clipboard across the website, but in Chrome it's going to be seamless and it's going to just paste it. Okay, and the last one is we allowed users to keep the data if they uninstall the plugin, in case they want to roll back to previous version for some reason. Then if they uninstall it and install the previous version, if this one is not selected, they will have all the settings and everything there. But if you want to clean up everything from the Swiss knife, you can just select this one and you can uninstall the plugin. So I hope you guys enjoyed what we're bringing with the latest version of the Swiss knife, and you can see that it's fully compatible with Oxygen 4.0. Thank you for watching and see you soon. Bye.